Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, we are from 7th group. Here, we will explain all of you about our slides that discuss about Ijma. But first, let us to introduce ourselves. My name is Halimat Sadia.
And hello guys, my name is Naura Mafira. Let's start our presentation.
First, let's start it with background of Ijma. The Quran and Sunnah provide the legal guidelines needed to make things easier for humans. However, apart from these two guidelines in Islam, there is another guideline, namely Ijma. Every human action has legal implication, and if there are violations that have not been regulated in Al-Quran or Sunnah, ulama can provide opinions through the Ijma. Through this process, Muslims can obtain solutions that are appropriate to the context of the times and religious values to remain relevant. Okay, second, we will explain you about the definition of Ijma. Ijma is an unanimous agreement of Muslim mujtahids, which took effect after the death of the Prophet Muhammad, according to which no one else will answer the laws written in the Quran other than the Prophet. Types of Ijma. The aspects of Ijma are divided into Ijma Syari and Ijma Sukuti. First, Ijma Syari. Ijma Syari occurs when mujtahids make an agreement on an opinion or action regarding a certain law, which is proven by the words of each mujtahid cleric. Second, Ijma Sukuti. Ijma Sukuti is an agreement formed on a mujtahid's opinion in law regarding a case which is not opposed by other mujtahid after it has spread widely and many people know that opinion. Next, the position of Ijma. Ijma is a source of law in Islam where it occupies the third position after the Al-Quran and As-Sunnah. So, Ijma must be obeyed by Muslims and will be rewarded in accordance with the Al-Quran and As-Sunnah. Views of classical and modern scholars. Classical scholars such as Imam Ash-Shafi'i, Ibn Taymiyah, and Ibn Al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah, along with modern scholars of usul fiqh such as Muhammad Abu Zahroh, Muhammad Hudriba, Abdul Wahab Khalaf, Fatih ad-Duraini, and Wahbah Az-Zuhaili concur that Ijma only applies during the time of the companions because it is difficult to gather all of scholars in one place in the era of the companions. The scholars' opinions on Ijma can also be differentiated into the three different views. The first is the opinion of scholars regarding the possibility of the occurrence of Ijma. The second is the opinion of scholars regarding the limitation of Ijma, and the third is opinion of scholars regarding the requirements of Ijma. Okay, next, the opinion of scholars regarding the possibility of the occurrence of Ijma. The opinion on the possibility of Ijma occurrence is a view held by scholars who see Ijma as an important instrument in establishing laws in Islam, based on the consensus of scholars by referring to the teachings of the Quran and Hadith. Classical majority scholars argue that reaching Ijma is not difficult, even claiming that Ijma already exists in practice, such as in the divisions of inheritance. However, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal states that affirming the existence of Ijma on a law is a lie, because according to him, it is difficult to ascertain such as consensus if there are mujtahids who disagree.
Okay guys, the next is the scholars' opinions regarding the limitation of Ijma. The first is participation of the lay people. The majority of scholars state that lay people do not have the right to consider an Ijma law because Ijma is formed from the consensus of mujtahid scholars that has been agreed upon by all parties. However, some scholars, such as Qadi Abu Bakar, argue that the voice of lay people should be considered in determining an Ijma because the opinions of the community hold evidentiary power. Second is Ijma after the era of the companions. The majority of scholars argue that ijma is not only valid during the time of the Prophet's companions but also holds evidentiary power in other era if it meets the condition applicable at the time. However, Daud al-Zahiri and Imam Ahmad contend that the ijma with evidentiary power is the one that occurred during the time of the companions because at the time the number of mujtahid scholars was few and their geographical proximity was relatively close. Next, consensus of Ahlul al-Bait. Among Shia scholars, all agreements made by Ahlul al-Bait are considered ijma and hold evidential strength against the people. The next is consensus of the majority. The majority of scholars state that ijma is only valid if agreed upon by the majority of mujtahids. Even if some mujtahids disagree or reject it, some scholars like Muhammad ibn Jarir al-Tabari, Abu Bakar ar-Razi, Abu Hussein Hayat, and Ahmad ibn Hanbal explain that ijma can be derived from the consensus of the majority of mujtahids, even if some mujtahid reject it. And the last is consensus of the scholars of Medina. The majority of scholars state that the consensus of the other scholars with differing opinions does not gain evidential strength from the consensus of the scholars of Medina. Thus, the consensus of the scholars of Medina is not considered ijma. However, Maliki scholars clarify that the consensus of the scholars of Medina holds evidential strength because they are considered to have the specific criteria that strengthen the validity of their consensus. Next, we can explain about requirements of ijma. The first, quantity of ijma members. Haramain used reasoning to determine the validity of an ijma, stating that the number of mujtahid scholars participating in the ijma must reach the level of mutawatir, meaning the number cannot conspire to lie. Okay, next, passing of time. Some scholars argue that once a mujtahid scholar has issued their opinion, they are not allowed to retract it. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbali, Ustad Abu Bakar ibn Farouk, and several other Shafi'i scholars argue that the passing or death of the scholars who form the ijma is a prerequisite for the validity of an ijma, due to the possibility of deviation from established legal norms. On the other hand, the majority of scholars argue that the passing of time and the death of the scholars who form the ijma are not prerequisites for the validity of an ijma, as the validity of an ijma comes from the Quran and Sunnah. There are three functions of ijma. The first, as a legal source. Ijma is recognized as one of the valid sources of Islamic law. The second, establishing Sharia laws. Ijma is used to establish Sharia laws after the passing of the Prophet Muhammad. And the last, preserving the unity of the community. Ijma can be utilized to maintain the unity of the community in establishing Sharia laws. Levels of ijma. The first level of Sarih ijma occurs when all mujtahid express their opinions openly and transparently on a specific legal issue, usually during the time of the companions, and the determined law is considered definite qat'i. The second levels of silent ijma. Silent ijma refers to a consensus among mujtahid scholars or more in expressing in their opinions on a case. Subsequently, this consensus spreads and becomes known to the public. However, when the consensus spreads, no other mujtahid object to it with different opinion. And the last, in the classification of ijma above, there are also other ijma, such as ijma of the scholars of Medina, ijma of the scholars of Kufa, ijma of the rightly quiet caliphs, and ijma of the household of the Prophet. Okay guys, the last part is ijma, which is a consensus among scholars regarding an issue, occupies the third position after the Quran and the Sunnah or Hadith as Islamic law. Ijma is a crucial foundation that strengthens as evidence in establishing Islamic law, and its followers are recognized as part Islamic law. Ijma is distinguished into three opinions of scholars, the first being the possibility of ijma, the second being the limitation of ijma, and the third being the requirements of ijma. This ijma serves as the foundation of an evidence which will later become strong for implementation in life. The classification of ijma based on its form is divided into two: explicit ijma and silent ijma, and three are other types of ijma as well. The presence of ijma has a significant impact on the formation of norms in Islamic society, this strengthening its authority as an enlightened and evolving source of Islamic law over time. Okay guys, enough for us. Thank you for watching and see you next our video. Bye.